8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The construction of the longest irrigation tunnel in South Asia commences under the patronage of the President. Directives issued to renovate the historic Hindagala Cave Temple nearing destruction. Isolation status lifted in several areas from 5 a.m. tomorrow. The number of COVID-19 cases recorded in Sri Lanka is on the increase. Changes to the process of retaining COVID-19 patients in treatment centres. Free electricity connections to 1,607 houses before the new year. The opposition leader says the COVID vaccination drive must be expedited. In international news, US President Biden turns to skills that powered his 2020 victory to sell COVID-19 relief. In sports and cricket, debut Tom Myers bags the highest fourth innings score in Asia. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa inaugurated the construction work of the 28-kilometre-long irrigation tunnel, which will be the longest irrigation tunnel in South Asia upon completion at Palugaswava, Anuradhapura. The tunnel will be built under the first phase of the North Central Province Maha project in parallel to the Vari Saubhagya program to rehabilitate 5,000 tanks. The North Central Province Maha project is being implemented as the sixth and final phase of the Mahaveli development scheme. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has issued directives to officials of the Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs to promptly renovate the historic Hindagala Cave Temple, which is nearing destruction. The directives were issued after taking into consideration a statement made by the chief prelate of the temple claiming that several paintings of the temple with historic value are nearing destruction at present. The Hindagala Cave Temple includes paintings from the Anuradhapura, Gampala, Kandy and Kotte kingdoms. Meanwhile, the Premier stated that the present government will not reach any decision that will harm the country's independence. Speaking during an event in Siambalandua, the Prime Minister said, "The government continuously seeks and abides by the advice of Buddhist monks." The Premier noted that the government works for the continuity of the Buddha Sasana while hoping for the country's continuity. Prime Minister Rajapaksa therefore requested the Buddhist monks, patriotic religious leaders and the public to join the government. The Department of Government Information states that the isolation status in several areas will be lifted from 5 a.m. tomorrow. The isolation status imposed in the following areas will be lifted tomorrow. In the Boralla Police Division, the Gothamipura Housing Complex, Visihatarawatta and Hattahatawatta of the Gothamipura Veluvana Road, Dematagoda. In the Pugoda Police Division, the Kumarimulla Grama Nidadari Division. In the Galluluwa area of the Minuwangoda Police Division, the Jumma Masjid Mawata, Hidra Road, Aluthpara or Aluth Road and Akragoda. In the Ambalantha Divisional Secretariat, Bolana South. The number of COVID-19 cases recorded in Sri Lanka has increased to 68,938 following the detection of 362 patients today. The Department of Government Information said all cases were identified as contacts of the Minuwangoda-Palagoda COVID-19 cluster. Meanwhile, 807 COVID-19 patients recovered and were discharged during the past 24 hours, increasing the total number of recoveries to 63,401. Accordingly, 5,186 individuals are currently being treated for COVID-19 at 66 facilities across the country, while 720 individuals suspected to have contracted the virus are under medical observation. The Minister of Power and Energy, Dalla Salahapirima, says a policy decision was taken to provide free electricity connections to 1,607 houses which are without electricity before the coming Sinhala and Tamil New Year. He said this while addressing a meeting at the Mathura District Secretariat recently. During the meeting, a special discussion was held on the present status of the power supply as well as the measures taken by the Ceylon Electricity Board, led by the Ministry, to stabilise and develop the relevant supply in the future. The opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says that the program to obtain vaccines against the coronavirus should be expedited and vaccines must be given to every citizen. He was speaking at a mobile service held by the leader of the opposition in the Bodama area in Tanamalvila today. The deputy leader of the United National Party, Ruwan Vijayawardena, says the opposition needs a common platform to fight against the present government at future elections. Speaking during a Colombo district organisers meeting at the party headquarters, Sirikota, Ruwan Vijayawardena said a group from within the UNP left the party and formed a new party, adding, however, the UNP is preparing from now to face the government in the future elections. He noted the UNP will be able to reach a decision on joining another party during elections after becoming stronger as a party. That's local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The chief epidemiologist, Dr. Sudhat Samarveera, says it has been decided to retain COVID-19 patients at treatment centres only for a period of 10 days when the virus is considered to be contagious. He added that the patients are to remain at home during the remaining 4 days. The chief epidemiologist mentioned this speaking at a press conference held today. He said it has been scientifically proven that an infected person has very little chance of spreading the disease to another after 10 days. Therefore, we have to isolate for a period of 14 days.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
The Ceylon Motor Traders Association, Sri Lanka's leading automotive association with a 100-year history, raises its concerns over the heavily persistent fraudulent acts associated with Sri Lanka's used vehicle market. The CMTA highly recommends when purchasing a vehicle to seek advice and recommendations only from an authorized agent to iron out safety concerns and the hard-earned cash wastage.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
In world news headlines, US President Biden turns to skills that powered his 2020 victory to sell COVID-19 relief. Palestinian rights groups urge swift action after ICC ruling. Ecuadorians choose president amid economic turmoil. Nearly 3 weeks into office, President Joe Biden is trying to do what he knows how to do best: connect with average Americans, letting them know he understands their suffering and offering words of comfort. But instead of doing so quietly on the campaign trail, he is now using those skills to win a different kind of campaign, to sell his massive COVID-19 relief package to the American people. In the first installment of a series of weekly addresses to the American people, Biden hasn't made headway with his initial efforts to win bipartisan support for his $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package, so he's taking his case directly to the voters, connecting with Americans one at a time as he uses their stories to drive his policy agenda. Palestinian rights groups have welcomed the International Criminal Court's ruling that it has jurisdiction over the situation in the occupied Palestinian territories and called on the court's prosecutor Fatouh Bensouda to take swift action. Friday's ruling opens the way for the ICC to investigate alleged war crimes committed in the 2014 Israeli-Palestinian conflict in the besieged Gaza Strip by both the Israeli army and Palestinian armed factions. Voters in Ecuador are going to the polls to choose a new president and all members of the National Assembly. The country is reeling from the COVID-19 pandemic, which has killed 15,000 people in the nation of 17 million people. With the economy in the doldrums, many voters say they are more preoccupied with day-to-day survival than with politics. One survey suggested nearly 50% remain undecided on who to opt for out of the 16 presidential candidates. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. US President Biden turns to skills at Party's 2020 victory to sell COVID-19 relief. Palestinian rights groups urge swift action after ICC ruling. Ecuadorians choose president amid economic turmoil.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
And now in development news, 17,000 families in the Hemathagama area will have access to clean drinking water when work is completed on a new intake and water treatment facility connected to a newly laid out pipeline network. Last week, the first pipe was laid for the water treatment plant by Ballast-Nedam International Projects, a company from the Netherlands with a 140-year history of making life accessible for communities. In Hemathagama, a small town near Kagalle, families from 7 villages will have access to clean drinking water, meaning fewer diseases among the residents and less pressure on the area's already overstretched healthcare system. That was development news, and now in sports news. In cricket, debutant Myers bags the highest fourth innings score in Asia. Debutant Carl Myers scored a stunning 210. Not out as West Indies secured the 5th highest run chase in the Test history against Bangladesh in Chittagong. The previous highest chase was by Sri Lanka when they chased 391 against Zimbabwe in Colombo in 2017. This is only the 5th instance of any visiting team chasing a score in excess of 300 in Asia. This is also the 5th highest chase in the history of Test cricket and 2nd highest for the West Indies. Earlier, Bangladesh were 430 and 223 for 8, declared in their first and second innings respectively. In reply, West Indies were 259 in their first innings and 395 for 7 wickets, winning the first test by 3 wickets. Meanwhile, in the other 2 tests taking place in Chennai in India and Rawalpindi in Pakistan, on day 3 at Stumps, India trailed England's first innings score by 321 runs, reaching 257 for 6 wickets in reply. In Rawalpindi on day 4, South Africa are chasing 370 runs to win the second test against Pakistan, and at Stumps, South Africa were 127 for the loss of 1 wicket, requiring 243 runs to win.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Aiken spends travels leading DMC in Sri Lanka, working in partnership with TOI Kazakhstan, welcomed the country's first charter from Kazakhstan yesterday after the airports reopened for tourist arrivals. There will be 2 charters operating from Kazakhstan, and it will be a first since the Sri Lankan borders reopened for tourists. Air Astana flight will be a weekly flight operating every Saturday and is expected to continue till April 2021.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic News. Courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Sri Lanka is to lease 2,750 acres of state land to investors to grow maize in a commercial scale after banning its imports in yet another drive to save foreign exchange. A government statement said that it has taken measures to limit imports of food crops that have been recognized for cultivation within the country, with the objective of controlling unnecessary influx of foreign exchange abroad. Accordingly, import of maize has been suspended. The Cabinet of Ministers had approved a proposal by the Minister of Irrigation to lease the land for 1 year to recognize local investors.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
No, Amma. We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
Oh, really? How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy. She might be feeling very uncomfortable. The airport must be heavily crowded because it's a season.
Amma, calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. There's nothing to worry.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And now for the weather report, the Met Department forecasts a few showers in the Uva and eastern provinces and in the Polonnaruwa, Mathale and Nuwara Eliya districts. The forecast says showers and thundershowers will occur at several places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Galla, Matara and Kalutara districts in the evening. Fairly heavy falls, about 50 millimeters, can be expected at some places in the Galla, Matara and Ratnapura districts. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected in the northern, north-central, northwestern and eastern provinces, in the Hambantara district and in the eastern slopes of the central hills. Misty conditions can be expected in the central, Sabaragamuwa, Uva provinces and in the Galla and Matara districts during the morning. And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The construction of the longest irrigation tunnel in South Asia commences under the patronage of the President. Directives issued to renovate the historic Hindagala Cave Temple nearing destruction. Isolation status lifted in several areas from 5 a.m. tomorrow. The number of COVID-19 cases recorded in Sri Lanka is on the increase. Changes to the process of retaining COVID-19 patients in treatment centres. Free electricity connections to 1,607 houses before the new year. The opposition leader says the COVID vaccination drive must be expedited. In international news, US President Biden turns to skills at Party's 2020 victory to sell COVID-19 relief. In sports cricket, debutant Myers bags the highest fourth innings score in Asia. That concludes this news broadcast.